All right, so joining me once again here on the Matthew Filipowicz Show is my good buddy Rick Perlstein. Rick is, of course, a writer, a historian, and the New York Times best-selling author of Nixonland, The Rise of a President and the Fracturing of America. Rick, thanks for being on the show again, my friend.
Great to be here, Matthew.
So, Rick, we've talked before on the show on how President Obama politically refuses to take on the right wing. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Joe Klein in Time magazine actually wrote that Barack Obama was reading your book, Nixonland. I haven't been paying attention the last couple of weeks, so I'm assuming the president has taken a whole new tone the last couple of weeks and is really taking on the right from what he learned from your book, right? That's what happened the last couple of weeks, correct?
I fear the man just doesn't get it. So
yeah,
it would be a little frightening if the president suddenly did sort of turn on a dime and get stuff he didn't get before. I don't really want to have a person that mercurial in the White House. But I don't know the way. Actually, to digress, I always my hope for the Obama administration was always that 3 months in, 6 months in, even a year in, he would have said, well, I've tried and failed. It turns out my opposition is immature and obstinate and won't rise to the great occasion that we face as a country. And then he would make some kind of dramatic pivot, doing the stuff he absolutely needs to do both for the country and for his political survival, with a kind of more in sorrow than anger tone that would actually honor the fact that he has these conciliatory energies and use them as leverage to say, well, consolation failed, so I need to do something else. But it's far too late for that, and everything we see, reveals a profoundly, probably the most in history, technocratic sort of perspective on how the country should be governed. Which is funny because, going back to the campaign. I don't recall an iota of indication that Barack Obama was running saying he was going to be a technocratic president.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're actually... Yeah, no, it is. Well, so we're talking, today is actually Labor Day when we're having this interview. And currently, President Obama and Labor are really not on the best of terms. We'll see how that works if Trumpka is kind of threatening to withdraw some support from the Democratic Party. But let me ask, in recent history, Rick, has a Democratic president ever been able to win the presidency without the support of Labor? Will without Labor knocking on doors, has a Democratic president actually had success?
Of course not.
Yeah.
This is axiomatic. It's such politics 101. In this sense, we talk about Carter. He's got a word that's been coming up a lot. And what Jimmy Carter did pretty systematically from 1977 on was also giving Labor the cold shoulder and the back of his hand. And, we know what happened to him in 1980. And it's a pretty causal situation, taking Labor for granted, again, apart from what it means for the prospects of the country, is just terrible politics for a Democratic president. Doesn't make sense. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you have any more additional insight? Last time we talked, we still really haven't come to any real answer of is it just of why he thinks this way and why he's clearly governing against the country's best interest and his own best interest. Any more thoughts as far as that goes?
Well, I think there's lots of ways you can go with this. To me, the kind of characterological kind of personality orientation stuff is most interesting. He seems to have this profound sense that the battle lines in American politics have become kind of dangerously ossified. So any sort of energy that kind of places him, within the flow of the traditional Democratic coalitions makes him feel bad, makes him feel like a failure, makes him feel like he's not aspiring to that which he aspires, So every time he doesn't do something that Labor wants to do, I think in his heart of hearts, he feels like he's a great leader. He's doing something profound, that he's doing something historical, that he's doing kind of the quote-unquote big things that he's always talking about. We think of big things as in, big programs that help people a lot. But with him, it's, big procedural reforms that, take America away from his quote-unquote bumper sticker slogans. So